Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday to you. How was everybody today? Hope you all had a nice weekend. I know Saturday we had some awesome weather. Hopefully you were able to get some fresh air and get outside a little bit, get some exercise. I know we were outside all day Saturday, but then yesterday was big time. Yuck. It rained all day yesterday, so we were inside. We were logging a lot of couch time yesterday, so you might have been doing the same. But hope everybody's doing well other than that and you're ready to start a new week. I wanted to come on here this morning and introduce to you our new vocabulary words that you'll see within our story. The story is Why the Fir Tree Keeps His Leaves. So it is a myth this week and focus on the skill of theme. So we'll be learning about why the fir tree keeps his leaves. But let's introduce our vocabulary words. So I will share my screen and we'll get through these. The first word here is rustled. Say it. Rustled. So if you take a look at the definition, it says if something rustled, it made a soft noise as it was moved. So if you take a look at this picture, the leaves rustled in the wind. You can sort of hear it as you're looking at like shh. And you can hear that rustling noise. If you're walking through a pile of leaves, you might hear leaves sort of rustling at your feet too, making that noise. Okay, the next word is edge. Say it. Edge. So the edge of something is the line or the border where it begins or ends. So if you see the little picture of me up in your corner, the edges of my screen in a square there. You might have a table or a desk that you're working from and there is an edge right there. We look at this little video here and that ball is right at the edge and is about to roll off. Good. So that is edge. Next word, appeared. Say it. Appeared. So if something appeared, it came into sight. And we look at the example here, these little buds that are appearing on the tree. We are in springtime now, so a couple weeks back, you probably started to see new flowers that were appearing throughout your neighborhood or throughout the area where you live. The little buds on the trees, which are about to really turn into leaves here. I know I've got sort of the beginnings of trees happening, so they are starting to appear, to use the vocabulary word. And the next word, golden. Say it. Golden. Something that is golden is bright and yellow like gold. Gold is the metal gold. You might see some jewelry that is made out of gold. You might say the golden sun shone in the sky. Or if you're watching the Disney movie Tangled, you might say Rapunzel's hair was golden like the sun. So that is golden, and we see it pictured here, how that sun is shining in the blue sky. Okay, next word, crops. Say it. Crops. The farmer grows crops of corn and wheat. Now, crops are not just a small little garden you might have at home, which is also great, but crops are large numbers of plants that are grown for food. The farmer grows corn and wheat. We might have farmers growing pumpkins. They might have a crop of pumpkins. And we talked about the word crops in the fall when we were learning about, because that's really when farmers do their planting, is in the fall. And when we were talking about harvest time and that whole lesson in social studies that we would do. Okay, the next word, shining. Science, I should say. Shining. Say it. Okay, just like that golden sun, if something is shining, it is giving out light. The example here talks about flashlights. Bill and I were shining flashlights on the books so we could read it at night. You might see a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout. I know we have Kaden as a Boy Scout. Do we have any other Boy Scouts in our class? They might use flashlights when they're going on a hike in the woods. If it's getting to be evening or dusk and they're starting to need some extra light, you might shine a flashlight. Okay, next word, develop. Say it. Develop. So a develop is when something grows or changes. So just like we see the flowers on trees developing into full-blown leaves or flowers, we see the example here that the tadpole will develop into a frog. So this here is sort of the tadpole turning into a frog, as we can see it if you zoom in your little camera there, because a frog starts as an egg and then it turns into a tadpole, and this is sort of going into that third stage where the tadpole is starting to become a frog, and the full grown frog is the final stage of that life cycle. But here we sort of see it turning into a frog. And finally, stages. Say it. Stages. So stages are the steps in a process. So if you remember back in the beginning of the year, right before we did open house, we started to learn about the stages of the life cycle of a butterfly. Egg, caterpillar, and butterfly are stages in a butterfly's life. They're obviously leaving out that very important step where the butterfly has cocooned himself, and he stays there for usually about 2 weeks, and we were able to see that whole life cycle in our classroom. And hopefully you remember the song too. Started off as a butterfly, but I won't hurt your ears this early on a Monday morning. So that, again, we see it right here. And oh, and look here, we can see that it's coming out of its chrysalis. Okay, so those are our vocabulary words, boys and girls. And you will be working on them today in a vocabulary match. You'll be working on them in a vocabulary context. And again, like I said, seeing them in our story for the week. So get to know them, get to use them, and you will do awesome. Have a wonderful day. And if you have any questions this week on anything that's on the lesson plans, always send me an email or have somebody at home send me an email, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, have a great day, boys and girls.